Howdy y'all, welcome to episode 17 of my Let's Play. I am Ragaras. Got quite a bit that I want to do today, some that I've already done. If you look over here, you can see that my double-decker sugarcane farm, I've gotten rid of that. I decided I wanted to get rid of using that fuel up here and go to nuclear power. So what I did, since I was just generating so much of this biofuel, what I did is I came over here. You can see this barrel is almost chock full, which means I was running out, just filling up the barrel and everything was spewing out. So what I added here is I added a gate, and I said if there's space in the inventory, it's going to give it's going to give the redstone signal. The redstone signal. The tesseract then is set that it needs a redstone signal to activate. So this is going to stay off unless there's room in that inventory, which it'll turn it on and it'll start harvesting sugarcane until it's full. I've turned off the tesseract to the bio engines over there, or bio generators. Turned it off here, and I turned it off over there, so it's no longer receiving power. Now if we go over here, back over to the main base, you can see this is starting to drain out. I've processed as much stuff as I could to kind of get me up to max. Still have a little bit left to do, but then what I'm going to do is remove all this and then build up a generator, or not a generator, a nuclear room, which will handle 3 of these little small reactors. I've actually spent, that's why there's such a long delay in me putting out a video, is I spent a lot of time, both in a test world and online, looking up nuclear reactors and finding the best way to use these things for me. I've got all the components ready for these following 2, or the next 2 reactors. I have a bunch of warded stone, which I'll be using to build the reactor room. Now I did do a couple of tests on my test world with that warded stone and blew up a couple of reactors. That really is the way to go. You have that warded stone around there, it won't even blow the door off. The only thing you'll get is, if you're close, you're going to get a poison effect. I think it's hunger or something like that. So when we're done, right now we're producing, this is producing about 96. This single reactor chamber, it's not the big 6-chamber reactor, it's just a single reactor. Very easy to maintain. I've, not kidding you when I say I've tried out, probably 15 plus different designs, large and small. And this is really the best bang for your buck when it comes to reactors. You get an easy 100. It's easy to maintain. It will run a full cycle, and you don't have to really worry about it. But we're still going to use warded stone when we build this thing, just to make sure that if there is some sort of error in server this or server that, then it will be safe and we won't lose our entire base. I also had an issue where I had a power outage yesterday, and that corrupted the world. I knew it was going to happen because I was in a Minecraft age. I've been trying to get another stable age. I don't know why, but I keep getting charged worlds. I can't. I'm trying to make just like an island world where everything is islands, and no matter what I seem to do, they come out charged. No matter how I change it, I always get charged. And if you haven't been in a charged Minecraft age, it's going to pretty much burn down all your wood on the surface from lightning strikes. So that kind of sucks. So I'm still working on that, but I was in one of those ages, and all of a sudden, all the power went out, just boom, and I went crap. I knew it was going to happen, and sure as shooting, it corrupted the world. I managed to change out the what do you call it, the file with another world download, and I was able to get it back. I did lose all my inventory, so I had to go remake all of that. The good thing was I did get, since I had to make a new sword, I used one of my repair enchants on that I had down in the enchantment room. But that's what we're working on right now. So I'm going to still try to burn some of this down and keep an eye on the sugarcane over here. I'm pretty sure this is just going to be the best result. It's going to only produce, since it's not going to be used in so much, I removed the upper deck. I'm probably going to add some kind of lighting over this, just to kind of kill some of the blind spots, because you can see there's already a kind of a creeper over there, and I've had them in my fields before, so. And you did. Okay, we are back. I have knocked out the reactor, kind of knocked it all out. Well, hello, buddy. How you doing? Just coming to see me there? No, you don't. No, you don't. There. Wow, just knocked all my sugar cane out. Jerk. Don't you hate it when family comes over to visit? Alright, the first thing I want to get to is I want to remove this red power tubing and mechanism down here. So I want to go to just a Buildcraft pipe system like I use at the other one. You know what? I think I'm going to run over here and go to sleep real quick. It's night and I'm hearing all kinds of stuff. I don't want all this crap jumping down on me. So run over here real quick. Take a quick nap. Had my sister just over here. She just moved back into town, and she's dropping off some study material for me for a test. Okay, now I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of the red power system and go to a gate system that will. I still hear skeleton, so we're gonna shut this off. Get rid of that. Got that timer. And damn, I knew that was gonna happen. God, I hate these things. You can't target them. Am I targeting it? Nope. Okay. And now it's gonna flood me out. Oh, great. Come on. Let's get back up here. Put that right there. Alright. So what I want to do is I want to put a gate on this that is going to say whenever fuel or not fuel, but resources are below, 25%, it's going to request items from the barrel over there instead of using the gate like that right here. So we are going to. I wonder if I'm going to have to move that. I hope those don't touch. Wow, I bet you they're going to touch. Well, that's okay. I can handle that. Okay, let's move this back so they do not connect. Well, they're wooden pipes. They shouldn't connect, right? Let's find out. Okay, yeah, they don't connect. All right, great. So where's my golden pipe? There we go. So we're gonna run this. And go down here. Come on. So what this will do is it'll get rid of the timer. Instead of it pulling so many per second, whatever it is, it's going to actually request. Damn. Another one. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that water spot. Okay. Probably lost some sugar cane there. What this is going to do is it's going to request when it's empty at the fermenter, it will come over here and request from the barrel that it send items down. So we're going to say when it receives a red pipe signal, it's going to energy pulse. So it's not gonna. We're not gonna worry about. Oops, put some red wire all over here. And connected. So this will remove the need for a timer, so it won't constantly be running, and it won't be pulling things out and sticking it in the buffer. It'll either use it or it won't. And one more. Okay. So now we're going to put our iron ingate on this one here, and we're going to say, let's get all the way down to where energy stored, can store, fuel, nope, fuel resources, red pipe signal. So when this gets low enough, it'll send that out. Okay, sorry about that. I noticed I was making some mistakes, so I went ahead and shut it down real quick, figure out what I had done wrong. The first thing I did is I had put the wooden pipe on the wrong side. The wooden pipe actually needs to be on the barrel. Yeah, dumb mistake. So I went ahead and flipped that around, and of course, now that this is not a wooden pipe, it did connect with the wooden pipe here. So I moved this with a gravity gun. Thankfully that works now, so I didn't have to unload that and reload that. And added a sandstone pipe here so the gold pipe would not connect to the iron chest. Shut up, dog. So what's going to happen now is when the resources here get below 25%, which will be around 13 or so, it's going to send a red pipe signal down to the gate, the iron autarky gate that's connected to the barrel, and then it's going to send a pulse until the red wire signal stops. And you'll see it'll do it here pretty quickly. See, it just fired up the red wire signal. And down it'll come, and it'll fill it up just enough to get it over that 25%. So instead of having to wait for the red red power timer, it's just going to go ahead and pump a bunch in. And since the pipe length is so long, it'll get quite a bit before it needs to be refilled. And it'll only probably do that every time it needs to be refilled. Now before I get on to the nuclear reactor, let's go over to the farm portal and show you something that I've also added. It probably won't be used for a while. But one of the things I wanted to get away from was using or having to manually refill that compost all the time, going to 2 different locations. So I set up a fabricator here with the compost recipe in there, and a chest full of dirt, chest full of wheat, and this will be set to only pull the compost out of here, so it will not pull the raw materials should they go in, and then the compost will go in here. So once all that compost is emptied out of those 2 chests, and of course it'll take a long time for that to happen because compost goes very, very slowly as compared to the sugar cane. So I will replace this chest and the chest at the other location with the ender chest, and they'll just both pull off of this chest. So I only have to keep the 2 main chests loaded, and it'll make it and fill it as needed, and they will then use it as required here. So that will take some of that off of my hands of having to go to 2 different locations all the time. Now with the bees that I use for power here, well, that generate fuel here, I don't have to worry about that. It kind of takes care of itself. It just keeps going. Actually with the nerf it works pretty well, because before only 1 bee would overload this thing. Right now 2 bees is pretty stable. It pretty much keeps it up, keeps them from messing around. Now what I could have done here also that I'm starting to learn with these gates is, I could have set it up to say, okay, this is full, shut down these 2 gates so that they stop breeding, and then turn it back on when it gets empty. But right now it's not necessary because it's pretty much just keeping up with the 2 bees are keeping up with the flow with only slight excesses. Now this field actually keeps up very well with the high pressure boiler that's down here. the excess sugar cane I get is very, very, very little over a long period of time. The other one is a low pressure boiler, and that's why I have so much excess in that one, because it uses half as much as this boiler does. That's why I moved it down to a single level instead of bi-level, since I was switching over to nuclear power for my EU power. And here's our nuclear reactor room. Again, it's completely made out of warded stone and warded glass, with the exception of these 3 blocks, and there is an MFSU in that back corner with an opening for power. Now, on my test world, I did some testing, and I did it 2 different ways. I did it in a completely enclosed building, only a door, and it handled a explosion with several quad uranium cells with absolutely no damage. And then I did another test with a couple of openings like the MFSU there for power and wires and such, and just to see what the damage would be like outside of those. The only thing it did was blow that MFSU out and the monitors. It actually left the reactor sensor location cards in the spot where they blew up. So let's show how this reactor is working right now. As you can see, it's filling up. I only started this just a few minutes ago, so it's outputting, these 3 are each outputting 100 EU a tick. They will run, I found this design on the IC2 website. It will run a full cycle. It will cool itself down. As you can see, if you look out here, the temperature goes to 128. That's the external temperature goes to 128, and it pretty much stays there. It won't go for any higher than that. Excuse me one second while I pack these down. It will cool off and go to 0 just as soon as you turn these off. This is a 0 cost reactor. It does not cost you don't have to replace any components between each use, between each cycle. Does not cost you anything to run this other than the uranium cells. This is your only cost right here, is replacing these uranium cells when they go out after a cycle. Now you see I have an LZH condensator up here. This is one of the items I was looking at to try to create a single-use coolant reactor. They are not as great as they would seem. Now, back in the older days, when you had you could pump ice and snow and whatnot into these things and use those as coolant, there were several different ways you could cool these off. You could use EE2, equivalent exchange 2, and you could actually make ice, and with red power and whatnot, you could make a 2,000 EU a tick reactor with almost 0 heating. You can't do that anymore. These things, even though I could easily make one of these single chamber reactors, or 0 chamber reactors, I guess is what this would be, upwards of probably 400 EU a tick. These don't cool off like the items in here. These have to be recharged with lapis. You have to actually pull it out and recharge it with lapis. You can cool them off with these component heat vents, but it's like 1 point of heat or damage per second. It's really, really slow, and it will not last. These will not last a full cycle. You would have to shut it off, pull out the condensator, recharge it, and put it back in. Now, one of the tests that I did on my test world, and if anybody really wants to see how I did it, maybe improve on it, maybe I'll even show it in another episode, is I tried using a router to pull from the reactor. It then went into a fabricator. The auto crafting table didn't work at all. The fabricator worked, but it has a small bug, whereas if you pull out one of these LZHs and manually replace the lapis, a very damaged one will only take about 2 lapis to fix it. So let's say, you know, I had 6 of these things in a single or a zero chamber reactor like this one, you know, it would only be, you know, 12 lapis to recharge it. Now, for some reason in the fabricator, it would take a stack and a half. I don't know why. It just, you put it in there and you just see it tick through it real quick and get rid of it. That's the reason that I didn't go with that. The problem that I was having with the fabricator is I would have to have pulled these out at a pretty short period of time to make sure that they were all equal in damage, because these, for whatever, do not take damage equally during the cycle, however long you leave them in there. Even though you can set them equidistance from cells and everything else, and they just don't take equal damage. So I was going to have to pull them out relatively quickly, and I didn't really have a problem with that. I could have set up a computer program that pulled them out at a certain time, or shut down the reactor, pulled out the or activated the router, pulled everything out, and sent it back in, and it would have been fine, because I could have gotten considerable amount of energy even with that, because the amount of time to recharge one with that setup was pretty short. The only downside was using 6 of these, it would take over a stack and a half to recharge it once it hit the fabricator, and that was just too high. If it was only 12 every once in a while, I'd have been cool with that. But yeah, its cost is just way too high. So this is the setup that I went with. Like I said, there are bigger ones. You can go with, you know, 6 chambers. There's a 6-chamber one on there that does like 460, but I figured for the material cost to do each one of these was probably less, and the growth potential is pretty good. I can easily expand these single chamber reactors. You know, I could easily get 1,000. I could probably get 1,000 EU in here if I really stretched it. I could, you know, string them along here, string them along there. I mean, there's a lot of growth potential with a zero chamber reactor that's outputting 100 a tick. So what'll happen is when this hits full, it will shut these reactors off. So they will not run a full cycle, even though they can. They won't run a full cycle continuously. You know, the full cycle for them will be as I request power. Excuse me. Ugh, tilapia coming up. It'll only come as I request energy for my machines in the workroom in there. Now, I thought of a bunch of different ways to try to I don't know, dress this up and maybe match some of the architecture over here. You know, a little bit more grandiose or elegant or whatever. But you know, it just seems like a reactor is I don't know, clinical almost, just sterile. Most of the pictures I found online for real reactors are kind of a dome thing. Don't know if I really have room to do a dome here, so I don't know. I may look at it and see if I can add that. But this way I can just come up here. I can see they're just labeled top, middle, and bottom. I'm very original. I should be writer. And I have it turned off as far as max heat, max temp. I know if it gets over 5,000, this thing's going to be smoking and time to run. I do need to put some sort of emergency shutoff valve that will come in here and kill this somehow. I probably have to use like an inverter cell, but that's not a problem. I mean, if I really need to, I can just run up to the MFSU. So that's what we've got. That is our nuclear reactor. That's the changes we've made to some of the power systems here. Another change that I want to make soon is I want to get rid of this rubber farm and go over to one of the newer tree farms and see how that works out. So we'll be doing that in a future episode. But if you have any questions, comments, please let me know. If there's something you'd like to see me build, or you have a suggestion or improvement on something that I've got, let me know. Don't forget to send me This damn cat, he's just gonna sit back here and meow until I get up and let him out the door. He's just like, okay, I've eaten. Now I want to go outside and play. Open the door, punk. All he does, I swear to God, all he does is he comes in, he goes right to the food bowl, he eats. He may stay for a nap, but then he's like, okay, open the door and let me out. Freaking cats. Yeah, he's just gonna go. All right, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Please give me any feedback you may have. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all later.